Well, welcome to Riding with Shotgun, Riding Shotgun with Tupper. I can't remember the name of it. On Tuesday, May the 8th. This is the second attempt. I did this morning and then got to the paper and it was messed up. And so we call it technical issues because technically I'm an idiot. And I screwed up. I had the dog with me this morning, and she was on the video, and then she ran down into the creek, and then she got a muddy mess, and that didn't have anything to do with why I didn't post it. But so I'm home this evening trying to get some mowing done, and thought we'd do the important stuff first, and that's this. So hope you all had a great week. It's beautiful here, like 82, sunny, crops in the ground. When I drove back here this morning, I saw our corn was up, just barely, but it's popped up, and it'll get bigger in a hurry, and that's great. It was really good to see, and always exciting when it looked like we took a hard turn right from winter to summer. I don't think we got much of a spring. All of a sudden, it's really, really nice. So anyhow, I think today's Lovey's 60th birthday. Does that sound right? If so, happy birthday to Lovey. And I wanted to talk about some Illini basketball because yesterday Ayo got an invitation, one of 32 players, to be invited to the USA basketball tryouts to create a national team that will compete early this summer in the under 18 world tournament that will be held in Canada. And first, though, Ayo's got to go to Colorado Springs to participate in the tryouts. 32 players. Bill Self is the head coach. His assistant coaches are Anthony Grant from Dayton and Danny Manning from Wake Forest. Danny, of course, coached on Bill's staff at Kansas, and of course before that he was a tremendous All-American player at Kansas. And so, you know, if you're okay, so imagine for a minute you're Brad Underwood. How do you look at this thing? Well, what Brad is going to say, and what he should say, is that it's a great opportunity for Ayo. He's right. I mean, it is. It's a great opportunity for Ayo. It's an honor to be invited. He's earned that. He's played well. He's received recognition. People understand, you know, what kind of a player he is and can be. And so this is an opportunity to go out there and experience this. Number two, I think it's always good, and I'm sure Brad is looking at it this way too, it's always good to put yourself in an uncomfortable situation. Find out how you react in those situations. College basketball is going to have a lot of uncomfortable situations, and so get used to it. You're going to compete against other players, many of whom you don't know. In his case, in Ayo's case, he probably has bumped into most of these guys at one time or another. Whether he's played head-to-head with them or not, I don't know. But so that's all good. You're going to be judged by other coaches, and that's good. And if you are fortunate enough to make the team, you are going to once again be in an uncomfortable situation, because I'm sure Ayo is not played up in Canada where this thing is going to be held. You'll have an opportunity to compete against international competition, which is always good, seeing different kind of players, different styles. And the whole thing can be a terrific experience for a guy who's worked hard to get this. And Brad understands that when you recruit players of Ayo's magnitude, you recruit the opportunities that come their way. And now, on the other hand, all things being equal, Brad probably would just as soon have Ayo on campus as soon as possible. He's anxious to start blending the newcomers with the returning players in early June rather than June. The championship game of the under-18s is June 16th. So if Ayo made the team and they made the championship, the gold medal game, he wouldn't be getting to Champaign ready to play probably until like the 18th or something like that, I am guessing. And you know, you don't want to charge ahead with the other guys and not have Ayo involved and then have to kind of double back and let him play catch up the rest of the summer. But, you know, if it happens that way, it happens that way. But the sooner the better, I'm sure, in Brad's mind, in terms of getting kids on campus, getting them used to hearing their voices, getting them used to the way they run practices and the way they work players out, and starting to learn particularly defensive concepts, because they're going to have to hit the ground running, as difficult as that schedule is this season. And the sooner they can do that as a group, everyone together, all hands on deck, the better. And so, great opportunity for Ayo. I hope he makes the team. I hope they go all the way and win a championship. I think the advantages to that and the pluses to that would outweigh the other, but it's not all bad if he doesn't make the team or whatever. The other thing you worry about always is, you always worry about injuries when you're not there, because you end up saying to yourself, man, what would have happened? What could we have done? What could, you know, were they careful? And, you know, hey, Bill's gonna, and I'm sure they have a good medical staff and training staff and all that business. Bill's not gonna put anybody in harm's way. So, best of luck to him. May 31st to June 2nd, the tryouts in Colorado Springs. The tournament up in Canada concludes on June the 16th, and we will see where that goes. In the meantime, Brad's been out, you know, sprinkling offers out to people that they like, that they've evaluated now, you know, 19 kids, 20 kids, 21 kids, 2021, you know, looking into the future. I can't even imagine thinking that far ahead, but that's not my job either. And, you know, those guys are good at evaluating, you know, what a kid looks like from the class of 21 now, and what he projects to look like as he grows into his body, as he, you know, expands his game, and so forth and so on. So that's going on. Right around the corner is camps, and that's football and basketball. And, man, I can't tell you how many times a kid has committed to Illinois in either one of those sports and said, yeah, you know, when I was in 8th grade, or when I was a freshman or a sophomore, I went to camp there. You know, Marquez Beeson, the wide receiver from Texas, said that when we were talking to him at spring practice, that, you know, he came to Illinois camp the year before. Coaches want to get them on campus. They want to get them around their coaches. They want to get them around their players. They want to get them around their facilities. And that's why Lovey gets so excited about this performance center, because right now, at least he's able to show them that this is more than a dream. There's a hole in the ground. There's action and construction going on around there. But imagine when that's a finished product. You know, he wants to show off that the new weight room, the new locker rooms, the new team auditorium, which looks spectacular in the renditions I've seen. He wants to show off all the meeting rooms, the sports medicine stuff that's going to resonate if parents are going to come too. And he wants to show the bells and whistles, like the 2-lane bowling alley that they're building into that thing, or the barbershop. Now, on the barbershop, I asked questions about the barbershop, and my understanding is that you cannot hire a barber. That whoever does the barbering, it's probably a word for that, has to be somebody within the team structure. So it could be a grad assistant who has some haircutting skills. It could be an assistant coach. It could be a support staff somebody. It could be a team manager. It could be a player, I guess. I don't know. But anyhow, those are the two little bells and whistles they did. The bowling thing didn't surprise me, actually, because for as long as I can remember, Illinois football teams, and maybe to some extent basketball teams, have loved to go bowling as a sort of team-building exercise. They get a big kick out of it. They're competitive. They get out there. They go after it. I can see Lovey saying, you know, it's really close this week for who's going to be the team captain. Bowl off. and two guys go at it, and everybody gather around and just screaming and going nuts. That could be a lot of fun. So they're not going to win any arms race on their facilities. I know that there'll be some old school people that'll say, well, that's ridiculous to spend that kind of money on that. Believe me, compared to the Auburns, the Clemsons, I know they went to Clemson and looked at their facilities. They're not going to scratch that. And part of it is you got to be aware of who your donors are. You know, your donors are going to accept a certain level of these bells and whistles, amenities, and so forth. And at Clemson, apparently, they want to win that arms race. They want to go for everything, you know, waterfalls and I mean, just all kinds of stuff. And I think the typical donor, the guy from Peoria who's going to chip in on this thing, can accept a little bit of that. They know that that's part of the game nowadays, but they're not interested in thinking, well, my $1 million, you know, went to just a bowling alley, or went to you know, a disco room, or went to you know, whatever it might be, right? So they've tried to keep that within reason. But when you get recruits there at camp, and that's why I bring it up, man, that's going to be fun to take them in there. They won't be able to wait. You know, hey, come in here and see what we got. You know, plant that seed in their head right now. Other schools are doing the exact same thing. And as far as Ubben goes, for Brad Underwood, I know he has grand designs on upgrading that facility too. You know, it was state-of-the-art when it was built when Lon Kruger was the coach. But anymore, the thing that they want on all these things is self-containment. They want the facility, for instance, the Performance Center, to include locker rooms, coaches' offices, sports medicine, weightlifting, team meeting rooms, team auditorium, the bells and whistles we talked about, nutrition, dining. They want all that stuff contained. And over at Ubben, which provides them with a practice court, and the women with a practice court, that's a shared facility, they have a weight room. They have some training space. They have coaches' offices, although I was in Brad's office recently, and I think his office is very modest comparatively. And but they want some food service capability there. They want a kitchen there. They want, when those guys come in and they have them in at an early practice Saturday morning before a Sunday game, they want to be able to have an omelet bar or whatever, and feed these guys there rather than scatter them out to McDonald's or someplace else. So you're going to see a little bit of that. But the idea is to get them into camps. Camps are right around the corner. Get as many kids in as you can. Get them in early, get them in often, get them in again, and get them dreaming about, man, that's where I want to play. I want my locker to be right there. Now I know what my locker is going to look like. I want to work out in that weight room, and so forth and so on. So that stuff is coming and should be good. Let's see, what else to pass along to you? I've gotten listen, thank you so much for all of the encouragement about, well, in a bigger picture thing about my retirement, but also about riding shotgun and hoping that there's some way to keep that going. I'm having a meeting on Thursday in which I hope to learn some more, and I will, excuse me, I will certainly pitch for that. I want to do it. I know you guys seem to like it, or certainly there's a chunk of you that do, and so I'm gonna try like crazy to keep that thing going, and we'll see what can happen there. I should have some news for you by next Tuesday, assuming that I get everything recorded properly next Tuesday and don't end up doing it Tuesday night and can't get it posted till Wednesday. Anyhow, that's that. Have a great weekend, and can't think of anything else. We'll just check in with you next Tuesday. See you later, everybody. Thanks.